High in the mountains of southern Africa lies a kingdom built on ridges, valleys, and the rhythm of women's voices. Lesotho, a land of sweeping plains, deep blue skies, and communities shaped by wind, stone, and story. For generations, Basotho women have stood at the center of family life, agriculture, and social connection. Their labor carved pathways through hills, built homes, raised children, sustained villages. But woven into their world is a story rarely told, a tradition of intimacy and devotion between women, a bond chosen freely, quietly powerful, profoundly emotional, and deeply rooted in Basotho culture. This tradition is called Motsoalle, a relationship between women that could be affectionate, emotionally romantic, devoted, and in many cases, life-defining. This is not a modern reinterpretation. This is not an invention. This is part of Africa's history, a chapter that lived in the everyday lives of women who loved one another in ways only they could fully understand. To understand the Motsoalle, we must step into the heartbeat of Basotho womanhood. In traditional Lesotho, women worked in close-knit circles. Each morning began with routines shared across households. These daily rhythms made intimacy natural. From childhood, girls learned to rely on one another. As they grew, these bonds often deepened. A girl might find that among all her companions, but one felt different. One felt like home. That woman would become her Motsoalle, the one she chose above all others. A Motsoalle was not simply a friend. She was the first person you told your secrets to, the one you ran to with good news, the voice you trusted in sorrow. The person who understood your heart without explanation, more like a soulmate. In some villages, a Motsoalle relationship was recognized with small rituals. These gestures were subtle but unmistakable. Everyone in the community knew the meaning. Sometimes, families recognized the bond so strongly that they teased the pair affectionately, calling them two hearts with one shadow. Women described their Motsoalle using language filled with devotion. These descriptions were not considered exaggerated. They were genuine reflections of emotional partnership. Some Motsoalle relationships were purely emotional. Others included romantic or physical intimacy. But Basotho society did not require women to explain or categorize their partnership. The emotional truth mattered more than the label. And this truth was profound. Many Motsoalle pairs fell deeply in love, in the quiet, steady, enduring way that shapes a lifetime. One of the most striking aspects of the Motsoalle tradition is its community acceptance. Even when a woman married, she often maintained her Motsoalle relationship. Her husband did not compete with it, because it wasn't seen as a threat. In many cases, husbands appreciated the emotional support. A happy wife meant a stronger household, and the Motsoalle bond contributed to that happiness. Older women often encouraged their daughters to form such close companionships, knowing that adulthood could be lonely and difficult without someone who truly understood your spirit. In this sense, the Motsoalle became a form of emotional insurance, a lifelong anchor. Different regions of Lesotho practiced variations of Motsoalle customs. Some engaged in 1. Gift exchange, symbolic items like beads, carved spoons, special cloth, necklace charms. These acted like tokens of commitment. 2. Shared labor, working a field together was seen as a deeper sign of partnership. To share labor was to share life. 3. Mutual protection. A Motsoalle defended your name. She spoke on your behalf. She mediated conflict for you. 4. Emotional confessions. Motsoalle pairs often spent evenings telling each other, "I dreamed of you last night. You are my strength. You are the first person I think of." These confessions were sacred, the emotional backbone of the relationship. Life could change. Marriage, childbirth, or migration could shift circumstances, but rarely broke the Motsoalle bond. In one documented account, an elderly Basotho woman said, "My Motsoalle was the love of my youth. My husband was the companion of my adulthood. I needed both. Some Motsoalle pairs raised children together. Others shared household responsibilities even while living in separate homes. This flexibility shows that the Motsoalle was not rigid or fragile. It was a living relationship that adapted to life. Today, echoes of the Motsoalle tradition remain. You'll still hear Basotho women refer to my person, my other heart, the woman who understands me. Many modern relationships between women, whether queer, romantic, or deeply emotional, follow patterns that look incredibly similar to Motsoalle bonds. And this continuity tells us something important. Queer expressions of intimacy did not appear suddenly in Africa. They have roots, deep roots, in traditions like this one. The Motsoalle reminds us that love in Africa took many forms. That African women built worlds of tenderness beside one another. That emotional partnership was not a foreign concept. That femininity in Africa held space for depth, choice, and spiritual closeness. Most importantly, the Motsoalle teaches us love existed in the spaces we are only now learning to look for. And in those spaces, African women wrote love stories of their own. This is Queer Africa, and this is one story of African queerness, living quietly, freely, beautifully, in the mountains of Lesotho.